Hey everybody, back again. Gonna go over Jodan Uke for today, the rising block. You see it a lot in most traditional karate styles. It's just a block that starts getting students acquainted with and concentrating on blocking their face, which, as we know, is probably the most important block and most important area to block, because competition fighting, street fighting, self-defense, most people are always head hunting, right? Getting punching in the face. So I'm going to go over it, even if you're from a different style, in traditional karate or not. Maybe you can take some aspects of it. If it's not the exact way you're supposed to execute your block in kata or in in your drills or your kumite drills, maybe you can still. Hey everybody, I'm going to demonstrate a couple slower Jodan Ukes, which is rising block. Come from this chamber position, hands out. Okay, basic Jodan Uke from my lineage. A couple of things. Would start everybody out, hands in chamber. Some styles are here, ours is here. When the hand comes out, I start getting people to think of it more as a punch out rather than an across the body lift up. That's for various reasons, but point A, point B. The fastest way from point A to point B is always a straight line. So here, I get my students to feel and think that this is a punch turning out. Okay? We end in this position with our forearm. I'm going to demonstrate a couple, as well as no big area between the chin and the bicep. Not tucked up quite against, just a little bit of a gap. That also keeps our elbow somewhat in line with our body. A little bit out, but not way out, leaving a big gap. If you fought a grappler and block, they might come and hook this area. So this is kind of the end position of this block. When returning the single block, we take the elbow, bring it back across the body, therefore re-blocking the face. This is something I see excluded a lot, but it is important, and then pull back to chamber. Okay? So we get our one block out, one block, and we're transitioning from block to block. The new block always comes on the outside of your body, as outside of your body. Of course, if there was a punch coming in, we're not going to try to pull this hand back and block inside, right? It's not always applicable. So new blocks are always on the outside of your body. This crosses as this one comes out. Again, straight line. I will say it again. Very important that you don't go across your body and up. By the time you've come across your body and up, that punch is already going to be delivered. At a higher advanced level with these blocks, you're actually going to be punching at that other person's hand as it's coming out, which you can see tidbits in mixed martial arts and things like that. It's a little different with the elbow cover, but this is what it translates to. So, block is out, one hand starts pulling back, the other shoots out. You make kind of an X, right? This is, again, outside of your body. Kind of an X, right? This is, again, a way for beginners to understand and visualize what it is. As this hand continues its trajectory out, this hand pulls back. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay? So those are some of the basics of the actual rising block that we do. Again, I'm a big proponent, and I see styles do it. It's nothing against you. You guys probably have your reasons, but of across and up, doing this, across and up. Okay, if you're in real fighting, it's got to be point A to point B, point A being your hand, point B being their hand or arm, as quickly as possible. And these milliseconds going across and up, maybe not so good. Kind of an X, right? Maybe not so good for real fighting. Let me think of some other things to consider. Make sure that your power for your rising block is actually not directly going upwards, okay? That's also another reason the across and up is something I advise against. The power needs to be going out at this angle. You know, a redirection. There's always these discussions of uke, Uke means to receive. Well, does it mean that you're receiving the attack? Does it mean that your arm is receiving their arm? Okay, there's many different explanations, many famous karate guys. But regardless of that, your power should be going out. In the next video, I'm going to show how these blocks coincide with grappling, specific grappling, grabbing with somebody, as well as resisting an opponent's constant tension inside of a grapple. And in that video, you're going to see a little tip, or a little trick, I should, maybe not so little tip, or a little trick, I should say, where I take students, put their arm out, and tell them to resist against my arm on top. They're resisting, and it's very easy. 2-3 fingers, you can put somebody's hand down. We tell them to point their finger out and not concentrate on resisting our hand whatsoever, at all. Just that they're pushing this way, Get them to look this way, they're pushing this way. I go up, I can put both hands on their arm and sink my whole body weight without it being pulled down. So it's a little trick, a little dynamic exercise you can do, but for beginners, that is one trick I have never had fail. Whether I've had mixed martial artists come in there, teach them a block and do it, it's never failed. So you can do that with Jodan, Chudan, Gadan, high, middle, low block. Hopefully you found this informative, very basic. The more advanced blocks are to come. So tune in. Thank you.